All right, YouTube. This is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit, back with another video on this Monday morning. We got a lot to talk about. One of the things that people are not addressing that's coming from the left is all the threats of violence. You have liberals on the left threatening violence against conservatives, threatening violence against the president-elect with impunity. They're putting these ideas out there in the public to weak-minded individuals who they have been fear-mongering through a whole election cycle. But on another note, in Detroit, a homeless mother in the cold with her children, freezing, and two of her children expired, lost their lives due to the elements. But you know what? There's no immigrants freezing, but the citizens are freezing. They have all these politicians on the left going mad about an audit, the audit of taxpayers' money that would have probably prevented this lady from being homeless with her children. The story is all over the news in Detroit, and people, they're acting sad and they're acting like they're outraged, but there was no assistance. Even the mayor of Detroit had records that the woman had been trying to get housing, to get out of the cold, but no help came to her. Not from no congressional black caucus, not from no Democrat who's been inciting you to be mad. See, they're angry because the money is being audited that was supposed to go to protect the citizens, but you're mad at the person who's exposing the fraud, who's exposing the theft. I got a couple videos I want to show you. One is off Twitter, and I want you to pay close attention to what you're about to see. Now, this is for fair usage under the 1976 Copyright Act. Listen to this guy.
All the Elon Trump stuff, it's getting to a point, man. It's getting like somebody is gonna have to, preferably someone who's already doing it, so one of y'all. But somebody's gonna have to just throw their life away on this one, just kind of take one for the team, just kind of, somebody has got to just kind of get in there, go make history. You know who you are. You know who you are. So just buck up and do your duty.
Now, the president-elect has already had 2 attempts on his life. The Democrats lost. They lost the election. And they definitely butthurt because their lawfare didn't work. Their propaganda didn't work. So now they're going out kicking and screaming. And they're still fear-mongering the people. You're going to lose your Social Security. You're going to lose this because they're being audited. But it's strange that these public servants and officials have become millionaires while the people suffer. This woman in Detroit could get no assistance with kids. She's out in the freezing cold with several kids because there's no help. There's no funds available to assist her and her children. So 2 of her children froze from hypothermia. But you're mad at Elon Musk and the government and the conservatives because they're finding out why there are no funds. They have a waiting list for Section 8 and people to find houses that takes years for a person to find placement. Years. But they were able to find housing immediately for illegal immigrants that came in this country. But you're not mad about that. You're not mad about the money being sent overseas, funding weird agendas that have nothing to do with American citizens. Because the people who you voted in on the left are crooks. They have their personal interests ahead of what they should be doing to help their constituents. I want you to watch this clip of Letitia James. Letitia James is still using her lawfare. She had gotten a temporary restraining order that prohibited doctors from giving children gender changing surgeries, gender reassignment for children. She fought and went to the courts so that that could continue. Well, at the same time, Americans are freezing in the streets. Listen to her talk.
So states have a unique role in preserving the constitutional order. And it's important that individuals understand that all 18 attorneys general who have filed this action seek to stop a private individual from accessing the private information of millions of Americans, their social security numbers.
Now, this is what I want you to pay attention to. She's fear mongering, telling you that it's a problem with Elon Musk doing audits and having access to your social security number. But doesn't the IRS, which is not a governmental agency, have access to your social security number? Of course they do. And they are the ones who audit you. But she wants you to be fearful of what the Trump administration will find out in these audits. As I told you before, they found out FEMA gave $59 million to house illegal immigrants. If you're from Detroit, right now you should be angry. If they gave $59 million to house illegal immigrants, how did this black mother end up sleeping in a van in the cold in downtown Detroit with her children, who could get no help and was calling hotlines, and two of her children passed away? And they want you to focus on an audit, on somebody finding out about the governmental abuses with the taxpayers' funds. Listen to some more of this.
Their tax information, their addresses. No one elected Elon Musk and his minions, and no one has allowed him to have access to this information. This is a violation of the separation of powers. The United States Congress, the United States Senate, has the sole discretion in having the power of the purse, and not Elon Musk. He has basically violated the Administrative Procedure Act, and he has violated the privacy of millions of Americans. And it is up to us to prevent him from having access to that private information. And so we've come together because we believe in the Constitution and the rule of law. And we believe that no one is above the law. And we believe that there are individuals, obviously, who should be prevented from having access to this law. The Treasury Department is responsible for maintaining the privacy of our information. The Treasury Department is responsible, again, for protecting our rights and our privileges. No one elected Elon. He's not been subject to any vetting. He's not been subject to any conflicts of interest. He has earned $20 billion over the last decade. He's the richest person in the world. And he has caused harm and injury to Americans. And that's why we are here today, to seek a preliminary injunction.
So let me get this correct. I should be worried about the richest man in the world who's doing an audit over governmental spending. I should be worried about him having access to my social security number and my information, and not the crooked politicians who have drained state and city money to the point to where children are freezing in the streets of Detroit. Say this is not what you guys have bought into from the left. They're scrambling to protect themselves while we are at the mercy of the bureaucrats that they have put in place over these so-called social service places that deny us benefits and deny us help. Really?
To stand up against those forces who believe that they can unilaterally have power and have control, all in the hands of the President of these United States. It's important that Elon Musk, the Treasury Department, the President of these United States understand that is not how our order, the Constitution works. And so I'm joined here today by my colleague, William Tong, from the great state of Connecticut. And I would ask him to say a few words as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's hear for Tish James. Let's hear for Tish James. Thank you, Tish.
Thank you.
Let me thank Attorney General James, our colleagues, for standing together today here in federal court here in the Southern District of New York in defense of our country, in defense of the rule of law. We stand together to stop Elon Musk and his army of tech bro wannabe stormtroopers from tearing up the Treasury Department, now IRS.
Listen to his language. Stormtroopers. His army of tech bro stormtroopers. This is why mainstream media is finished. Their manipulation and mind game over the masses is dwindling to just a few idiots on the fringe of reality. Because as I've said, children are actually freezing in the street because they can't get any resources while they are sending billions of dollars overseas.
We hear the Department of Education and the federal government. Let me just put this, let me frame this for you and put this in context. You know, you're going to hear a lot of legal arguments today. We're going to talk about the Constitution. We're going to talk about the Administrative Procedures Act. Let's put that all to the side for a second. What is this about? This is the largest data breach in American history. That's what this is. Okay, our job as state attorneys general is to protect and safeguard our states, the citizens in our states, from data breaches, to protect their confidential personal information, to protect our states and residents from cyber attacks and cyber crime. And what you have here, never mind Equifax and a data breach that impacted half of all Americans, never mind Change Healthcare, which we're still working through, which has impacted our healthcare system in this country. This is the largest data breach in American history. We're talking about social security numbers. We're talking about banking information. We're talking about addresses, biometric information, states and payment information, routing numbers, bank accounts. All of this puts all of us at risk, right? Puts our states at risk, puts the financial well-being of our states and our country at risk, and every person.
An audit only puts people who are committing fraud through their bank accounts and social security numbers at risk. He's saying the quiet part out loud.
That lives in our states and our communities. And we're also talking about when they have access, not just read access, but read write access to the central payment system of the United States of America, the Bureau of Fiscal Services, BFS, right? We are concerned about payments to everyday Americans, Social Security payments, Medicaid, veterans payments to support our veterans, our first responders, police officers. This is what's at stake today. Not just the rule of law, but people, families who depend on the Treasury Department and on all of these payment streams and funding to support America, to support our states, and support the American people. Let me also say, we heard from the vice president who cast doubt on the role of judges. He said essentially that judges don't have the right, the power, and the authority to stop unlawful, illegal, unconstitutional actions by the executive branch and by the president. That is utterly false and untrue. Okay, judges have always had the power of judicial review for more than 200 years in this country. The Supreme Court said in Marbury versus Madison, when Tisha and I went to law school, that's the first day. And J.D. Vance knows better. His first day in law school, he learned that judicial review is a bedrock, right? It's what keeps us free. That's right. Because if judges can't declare what the law is, if they can't say that a president or a vice president or an unelected person or Congress, if they can't say what the law is and they can't stop them from taking an unconstitutional and illegal action, then what do we have? Right? We have unchecked power. Congress, if the president can do whatever he wants, then Congress becomes optional. It becomes more.
I'm going to stop this because I want you to see that they're so outraged about an audit. But look what we're mad about in Detroit.
It's a tragedy hard to even comprehend. Hard to even comprehend. 2 children are dead tonight, found frozen to death inside a family van.
It appears a large family was living in the vehicle when it was discovered inside the Hollywood Casino parking garage at Greektown today. Fox 2's Jessica Dubnak has been following this story since she broke it, actually, and it is so sad that this happened to this family. What's the status now? What's going on with the mother?
Well, mom is being detained. Police will not say that she's arrested, but detained at this point. I want to paint a little picture of what these children have been enduring. When police went up to the van earlier today to seize evidence, they found just a couple of blankets inside, and the 2 children that were frozen to death, the 2-year-old wearing a T-shirt and a pull-up, and the 9-year-old wearing a T-shirt and joggers. Police say this is now a full-blown criminal investigation.
This was unnecessary. It didn't have to happen this way.
Investigators shaken at this unimaginable tragedy. One phone call could have prevented it all.
Female says child not breathing. They are car at Greektown Casino parking structure.
Around 1 a.m. Monday morning, a gray minivan pulled into the Hollywood Casino at Greektown parking structure, parked on the 9th floor. Either it ran out of gas or had a mechanical issue, leaving the family of 6 without heat.
Around noon, the mother inside the van, along with 5 children, noticed that one of the children wasn't breathing. And she called family to come help, to convey to Children's Hospital.
That was the 2-year-old. Then not long after, the mom called the same family member, their godmother, to say the 9-year-old child was not breathing. Both were taken to Children's Hospital downtown, pronounced dead. Doctors believe they froze to death.
Sad, very sad, especially as a father. I just can't imagine what the family is feeling. I wish it hadn't have happened.
The 2-year-old wearing a T-shirt and pull-up. The older child in a T-shirt and jogging pants, only a couple blankets in the car. The other 3 children also checked out at the hospital are expected to be okay. They're being placed with Children's Protective Services, and now their mom is detained, being investigated for possible criminal charges.
I don't think anyone really wants to think about that at the moment with the 2 children passed, but the reality is that the circumstances do have to be examined. We have to figure out how to go forward.
The city of Detroit has a helpline set up for unsheltered people. The number is on the screen. It's up and running 6 days a week. When you call the helpline, there's a specialist that will answer the call and walk the family through the resources and services that are available. Here in Detroit, there are over 1,400 beds for people that don't have homes, and about 110 of those are reserved for those drop-in emergency situations that this family could have taken advantage of. As far as the criminal investigation, Detroit police now working backwards. We do understand that the family did it one.
They're lying. I live in Detroit. You hear how she said you call them and they walk you through resources. So you're liable to be on the phone with them and they direct you to a shelter that's already full of people and there's no room for you. And you got to go somewhere else. And you spend your whole night as a homeless person going from place to place in the cold until hypothermia kicks in. But you're fighting over an audit.
Time live in an apartment on the city's east side, but they don't anymore. They were living out of that van. They're reviewing security footage here at Hollywood Casino to see if this is a place where they came often. Still a lot to unpack. And again, this is a full-blown criminal investigation now with Mom. Reporting live in Greektown, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Well, Jessica, wondering why it took the mother so long to realize two of her children weren't breathing or weren't responsive. Was there a chance, are police looking into the chance that she might have been inside the casino at one point and then came out and realized this?
That's a good question. We asked that earlier. There wasn't an indication that she was inside, more so looking for a safe, kind of tucked away place to park her vehicle. But those are questions that they'll be reviewing that video and possibly use it as evidence. But it just all happened very quickly. You're talking really only 11 hours or so without heat. It's unclear in that time when the children passed or if they had any predisposition, malnourished or anything like that, that made all of this happen much quicker.
Yeah, your heart just breaks for them, though. All right, Jessica, I know that was a tough report. Thank you.
But first, breaking news in the sibling tragedy that shook Metro Detroit after two kids.
Everybody who know me know I worship the ground. Everybody who...
Now, this is what the mother says.
Everybody who know me know I worship the ground and kids walk though.
The 29-year-old mother of the two kids that likely froze to death Monday in the parking structure of the Hollywood Casino.
Maybe I asked the wrong people for help. But that was the only thing I did wrong.
Tatiana, remembering how many times she reached out for a place to live, she asked the father of the two kids that died.
He had an excuse every time. Either he's working, they can't come where he's living. He lived with a female, and the parents and them don't want kids there or something.
She also asked the city of Detroit for help.
I reached out in November. I reached out before that. I've been on the cab list for a long time. And every time I call the ask if they have a bed, they say they don't have family beds.
So the 7 of them had been sleeping in their 2002 Town and Country van since November. But the kids had everything else.
They ate every day, all day. Goodies, food. They didn't want for nothing. Every day they went to school. I had one mistake.
And the kid's grandmother, 49-year-old Yvette Goodman, was also in the van that day. Did the van run out of gas?
I have no idea what happened. I have no idea.
Did you fall asleep?
Yes.
And then when you woke...
Only night I fell asleep. I usually be woke.
And when you woke up, what happened?
My grandson wasn't moving.
A GoFundMe account has been set up to help the family.
And that's one of the reasons we did set the GoFundMe up, so she will be able to have housing for herself and the children, her other remaining children.
We'll put a link to the GoFundMe account on our website, fox2detroit.com.
That's all I wanted to do was sleep somewhere safe.
This was going on in the city and in our communities. Why the left and these liberal mayors and governors direct all the funds that they have to immigrants while the citizens suffer. What a way to start the week. It's Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. Like, share, and subscribe. As always, salute to all patriots. Keep your head on a swivel. Peace.